Hello everyone, my name is Penny and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the AMMZ Steel plugin that I wrote in CoffeeScript for RPG Maker MZ. So we have a blank project here. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we have the plugin installed. I'll include a link in the description below where you can find that. There isn't a lot to configure. So you're going to set a variable where you're going to store the target of the skill steal. You're going to set a variable where you're going to store which item has been selected to steal from the enemy's purse. You're going to set a parameter for the state for if you have rare steal enabled, which is optional, and a state for if an enemy has already been stolen from. So I have 20, 19, 33, and 32. Those are the defaults. Okay, looking at the help, what we're going to be doing is it does have some assembly required, absolutely. You're going to need this line here, so you can go ahead and copy that so you have it ready, and I'll show you where that goes. You're going to replace the number 20 in this with the number you set for your target variable. So whatever this first number is, that should be the same. If you don't want this steel skill to do damage, sort of like a mug maybe in some other games, then you can take this bit off the end, because that's the part that allows it to do damage. In this case, it's the attacker's attack times 4 minus the defender's defense times 2, which is just the basic attack. And then we multiply that by 0.5, so it does half as much damage. Okay. Let's see. Once you're done setting that up, and again we're going to walk through that, you're going to have a common event that you set up that is ran by the skill. It's going to have that target variable for the purse, so which item is being stolen. It's going to set that 0 to 3 because there's 4 items by default, and it's going to pick a random number. And then you're going to tell it to run the steal command. Now, whichever in the common event, whatever variable you assign here has to be the same here. Okay, and then we have the rare state, steal state, and already stolen from state that we're going to create. It's ignored by default. You can turn it on with an item. And then we're going to put in note tags for our enemies, which is how we create the purse. All right, now that we have kind of an overview, we're going to go ahead and do that. Feel free to modify or use this plugin as you like. I'd love to hear what you do with it. Okay, so our plugin is on. Then we are going to go to the skills tab, and I have a skill called mug, so you can call this whatever you want. You can set it to special magic, whatever you'd like. Cost, all of this is completely however you want to set it up for your game. Then I'm going to have uses, so character uses this ability. I'm going to say that it does HP damage. This has to be on, because if it's set to none, you can't use this bar here, and you need it. So I'm going to say that it does HP damage, no element, and then I'm copying over from the help file this line. So since I am using the default, 20 is correct. What this does is it says, in the game variable, set the value of variable 20 to b.enemy, so the target you clicked on. And you're going to get its enemy ID, so its number. Then you're going to set the target to B. You're going to set the user, so the person who used the steal skill, to A, just in case you need that. It isn't something that's required, but it is helpful. And then we're going to set up our damage formula. Each section has a semicolon, and that means that it's its own separate line. And we do that so that we can put what is really 4 different lines in one box. Okay, then we're going to go to effects. We're going to go to other common event and set it to our common event, which in my case is handle steal number 1. Okay, hit apply just to kind of save your work. Then you're going to head down to the common events, and wherever you set it, number 1, number 2, whatever one you did, you're going to name it whatever you like. And then here is where that second parameter comes in. So if it's 19, it needs to be 19, or if it's 3, it needs to be 3. So variable 19 is creating a random number between 0 and 3. The reason for this is that JavaScript is 0 indexed, meaning it starts counting by 0, and since we have 4 objects, it's going to be object 0, object 1, object 2, object 3. and then we're going to tell it to run the steal command in the plugin. And this is done by going to script, which you can find in section 3, and you're going to hit this button. It's going to bring up this window, and all you're going to put in it is this right here. AMMZ steal.steal and 2 brackets. The brackets have to be there and the capitalization has to be exactly as is. Okay, once you've got that set up, you're good to go on that part. Then go over to states. That's next. And again, we're just following the help file. Under states, again, I'm using the default, which is 32 and 33. So if an enemy has 32 on it, it's going to be already stolen from, so you can't steal from it again. And if a player or player character has 33 on it, then you're going to be pulling from the monster's rare steal list versus their regular steal list. And we're going to look at that in a minute. So again, if you don't turn on, like if you don't have an item that gives that state 33, then the rare steal list won't come up. So you don't need it, it's optional. I would suggest leaving no icon for either of these so that they are kind of invisible, because they're really for the plugin. They're not really something the player is going to see necessarily. Okay, so last but not least, once you got all that set up, you can go to your enemies, and this is important. Every enemy has to have a note tag or it will crash. So for instance, let's say that we were to have a spacer, so where all we're going to do is to like this. You still need to put steal tags in here, even though it'll never come up. It's just to keep the plugin from crashing. So I'm going to change that back to 5. So for each one, you have these 2 things. So you got it's going to be the bracket, then steal list. Again, it has to be capitalized just so. Then a colon, no space, and then 4 numbers separated by commas. These numbers are IDs for items. So for instance, this is 77777, I think. Meaning that the only thing that can be stolen is item 7. Item 7 is a potion. So for this particular enemy, the only thing you can steal is a potion. The reason it has to be done 4 times is, remember, the random number for our parameter chooses between 0 and 3. So it would be 0, 1, 2, 3. If there's not enough, and it say you only have 3 sevens and it chooses 3, it's going to crash because it's expecting there to be something there. Now you don't have to have them all be the same. So for instance, for rare steal lists, which again you need to have even if you're not going to use the rare steal list, we have 23, 23, 23, 24, which means, going to our items, usually it's going to be an HP increase, but once in a while it will be an MP increase. Okay, and that's really it. You put these note tags down the way, changing them to fit whatever your needs are, and then you're good to go. Once you're all set, we can go ahead and test it. Oh, I guess one other thing. You have to assign the skill to somebody. So in this case, Mug has been given to read. You could also put that in a class. So for instance, our sorcerer at level 5 could learn Mug for some reason, and then they would do it that way. But I just gave it directly to read. They always have Mug. And then we're going to hit playtest. Launches a battle. We have our gnomes. We're going to just have everyone guard. So, when we get Mug, stole a potion. Now, by default, there's a 50% chance for that to happen, for a steal to be successful. I think in an update real soon, I'm going to make it so that you can change that in the parameters to whatever you like. We try to mug the same person. It should say the enemy doesn't have anything else to steal, which is the only thing it will say after you've successfully stolen from someone. Now, if we steal from the other person, I'm going to go ahead and see if we get under the 50% this one time, and hopefully we do, just for viewing purposes. There we go. You were unable to grab anything. So those are the 3 possibilities. Alright, well that's really all there is to it. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions or maybe how you're using it. I appreciate you giving this a look. Alright, take care and enjoy game making.